Okay, good morning, sixth graders. I am going to be teaching math lessons today. Actually, we're going to do two in one video. So if you want to stop the video once we're finished with the first part and then start it again after you do today's assignment, that would be helpful. I'm just trying to kind of combine these things so you don't have a million videos and things that you're looking at. So today we're going to be starting our new chapter in language or math. We are going to be starting language arts too, but math is what we're talking about right now. And we're going to be working with a chapter that's on algebra, writing algebra expressions and writing algebra equations. And today we're going to be learning how to write and solve algebra expressions. So we did some of this earlier on in the year, and if you recall, we had a bell that went off in our heads every time we saw more than or less than in a statement. Because you're going to get a statement, and they're going to ask you to put it into an expression form. And when we see more than or less than in our written statement, we know that what comes after that, we put first in our expression. So I'm going to do a couple of these with you, and then I'm going to ask you to do the rest of them. So let's look at a couple together from the book assignment. And the book assignment is on page 302. And so we're going to look at number one. And number one, if you could get your book out and look at it, it says 12.5 more than a number n. Ding, 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 ding. Letters going off in your head because you see more than. So what comes after more than in the statement, we put first when we're writing our expression. So if you put 12.5 plus n, that would be incorrect. Wrong. Because we heard the more than. And so what comes after more than? It's n number, on number. So n plus 12.5 is the expression. Then in the directions, they also tell us that n equals 5. So they're asking us to do two things. Write the expression, which I just did. Then they're asking us to put 5 into the expression and solve it. So we would have 5 plus 12.5 is going to be 17.5. So those are the two things that you need to write down. You need to write down the expression, and then you need to solve the expression with the value that they give to you. All right, so let's do a different one. Let's do number 7. No, we're not going to do number 7 because number 7 is exactly like number 1 that we just did. All right, so let's do number 9. Everybody read number 9. Okay, it says n less than n multiplied by 3. So I see that less than, ding, 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 ding. So whatever comes after less than, I have to put first. So it says n multiplied by 3. So for number 9, this is number 9, we would have n times 3, or we could put 3n. That's the same as 3 times n when you put the number right next to it. You could actually also put n dot 3. But all of those mean the same thing. So we're saying we need to take n and multiply it by 3, and then we need to subtract n. Now, in this section, our value for n is different. If we look at the directions, the value for n in this section is 8. n equals 8. So now we have to put 8 into our equation, and the way that it would look is you would have 3 times 8 minus 8. And we know we have to follow the order of operations, so we would do 3 times 8 is 24, minus 8 is 16. So here's my expression, and my answer is 16. So this is what I would write for number 9. This is what I would write for number 1. So those are the two things that you need to be, two examples that you have for that lesson. Now if it's, you've got to remember more than or less than and then switch it around, okay? So let me know if you have any questions. You might want to pause the tape here. I'm going to go on in just a second to lesson 2. Oh, I got to tell you what the assignment is too. Here's the assignment. And we are only doing the book assignments. We don't have worksheets, so you're going to do 1 through 14 on page 302 and 303. All right, good job. All right, now I'm moving on to the next lesson, which is writing an equation. Now, yesterday we wrote expressions. Today we're going to write equations. Now there's a difference, but the more than or less than thing is the same. It still applies, so that's important. That's important for you to remember from the earlier video. But when we're working with an equation, we have an equal sign. So somewhere in the written statement, because you're going to have statements again, just like yesterday, you're going to see the word equal. And when you see the word equal, that means they want you to write an equal sign. There's also going to be a variable, and when it asks you or where you're going to need to put a variable, it's going to say a number. So a number. When you see a number, that's where the variable should be. And you can have your own variable. It doesn't matter. A variable is a letter that stands for a value. And so you can pick your own. Maybe if you're Maddie K, you want to use M for your variable. If you're Garrick, maybe you're going to use G, or maybe you're going to use O for Ohio State. Although I would not recommend O because O can be confused with 0, and we don't want that to happen. So you're going to use whatever variable you would like to use. I'm going to use B. A, B, and C are kind of like the universal variables. X is also a variable. You might think, oh, well, X can be like multiplication. But anyway, use whatever letter you want. And I'm going to do a few of these with you again. Now, let's look at the directions on page 304. Write an equation. Use X to represent the variable. So they want you to use X because when you're doing algebra, X is traditionally the variable that they use. So we're going to do that because that's what they're asking us to do. So let's look at number 1. 8 more than, ding, 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 going off in your head, ding, ding. 8 more than a number equals 982. Now here they're only asking you to write the equation. They're not even asking you to solve it. So we'll do that later on in this chapter. But, so if I read it again, 8 more than a number equals 982. So, number 1, I know I'm going to have equals 982. And they want me to use X for the variable. And the variable has to go first because there's a more than there. So I would have X plus 8 equals 982. Now, if you wanted to solve it, and you wanted to say X then equals 974, you could, but you don't have to. That would be extra credit. Okay, so let's do one more of those. Let's go to 7. 7 says a number divided by 13 equals 22. Now, there's no more than or less than in this, so I don't have to worry about putting anything in an opposite order. So, a number, and here they don't even tell you. You can use whatever variable you want. So I'm going to use B. 7. B divided by 13 equals 22. Just that easy. And if you wanted to solve this, the way that you'd solve it is that you would take 13 and you'd multiply it by 22, and then you'd get the value for B. But they're not asking us to do that, so you don't need to worry about that. Now, 8 through 15, they're giving you the equation, and they want you to write it out. So I would like you to try at least 4 of those. You don't have to do all 8 through 15 if you don't want to. Just try to write out 4 of them, any 4 that you'd like to. So your assignment for this lesson is 1 through 7, and then you're going to do 4 of 8 through 15, and that's it, okay? So I will have this on RenWeb, and I'll have it in your emails so that you know, but that's your assignment. If you have any questions, you can email me. If you have any questions or comments, you can comment below the video, and all of that will help you. So have a great day. Love math.